forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the Vato speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
Kansas City is ranked as one of the most deadly or dangerous 25 neighborhoods, a distinction the city has held for 2 years in a row. Lisa Benson spoke to people who live in the neighborhood in question. She's live with the story. Lisa?
Well, the people I spoke to know they don't live in a great neighborhood, but they are surprised by their national ranking.
Laura, Chris, it was in federal court that Rashawn Long was sentenced to the maximum punishment for having drugs and a gun, 30 years in prison. And it was during that sentencing that the prosecution announced they have new evidence that links him to at least 5 deaths.
I am very thankful and grateful, more relieved that he is off the streets.
Cheryl Turner hasn't had time to read the full sentencing yet. It's too fresh, but she hopes this announcement is one step towards the justice her family deserves.
We want justice for our loved ones. We miss them. We can't see them on holidays or you know, just be with them anymore. And it's gotta be, he's gotta answer for this.
After being convicted of murder in 2001, Rashawn Long got out in 2013. Prosecutors now believe he's responsible for at least 4 more murders that occurred that summer, including the deaths of Turner's 28-year-old daughter, Maisha, and her granddaughter, 3-year-old Demaya White.
One victim is described as a black female in her 20s. And one victim is described as a black female between the ages of 4 and 6.
That just happened, folks, in Kansas City. A heartbreaking scene. A child and a woman in her 20s found dead in a Kansas City home, and the family just told minutes ago, and that is what happened. Screams and cries. Officers also found a 1-year-old baby in that house. It's all happening right now in the 5500 block of Wabash. Sayed Shabir is there live right now.
Krista, it's one of the most difficult scenes I've been on. There are about 24 family members here who are overwhelmed with grief right now. You heard that raw emotion when police broke the news that a mother in her 20s and her young child were found dead inside their Kansas City home. Here is a picture that the sister of the victim had just sent us over. This is 3-year-old Demaya White. She is the child that was found dead inside this home. It's heartbreaking to see this as the family, again, is just taking in this news. What we know from police is that shortly after 7:15, the victim's cousin had come by the house to check on the residents inside. She saw the door was open, so she went inside and heard the crying of a young boy. This was the victim's 1-year-old son who was crying inside. She picked that boy up, and as she did that, she spotted some blood inside the house, and that's when she later found the body. She immediately called police, was very hysterical when she called police, and that's when police also found the second body, again, of this young child. Very heartbreaking news, and the saddest thing, too, is that the police have no leads and no suspect information at this time. They aren't confirming the identity of the 2 victims yet, nor their relationship, but there are several family members here who have done that for us. As you saw that picture, I've spoken with the sister and the aunt. Very, very hard news to take in on this Friday evening. We'll have more details as soon as...
It's just shocking and mind-blowing. It's unthinkable to even think someone is that devious. It's just evil. Evil.
Tonight, as she still processes the news, she has one warning to everyone.
Be careful who your friends are, who you become involved with, or even socialize with.
And police say it was during interviews with Long that he admitted to killing that mother and her daughter, along with at least 2 other people in that summer of 2013. Reporting live in Kansas City, Brian Johnson, KMBC 9.
Yo, we back. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb ties. We on our way to Missouri with it. Kansas City. All my guys from Killer City, y'all get in the comment box and check in. Y'all know how we running it. Now, today, we are going to be covering a guy by the name of Rashawn Long, but we really can't talk about Rashawn Long without talking about the set from 51st. Now, by the set from 51st, I'm talking about the 51st Street Crips. Now, according to the Kansas City Star, the 51st Street Crips shot their way to an unmatched level of notoriety in the late 1990s and the early 2000s. They were number one at the time, according to James Harrington, a retired Kansas City police detective who spent years investigating that specific group. Now, according to various media outlets in the 30s, Rashawn Long was said to be a member of that set from 51st. Now, the Kansas City Star is going to say that back in the days, a small group, never numbering more than 10 hardcore members, were responsible for most of the gang's criminal activity. They made money selling a cornucopia of illegal drugs, cocaine, marijuana, PCP, and ecstasy. They're going to say that they assaulted people, they stole cars, committed armed robberies, often targeting drug dealers, and they also killed. Now, it's widely speculated that Rashawn Long could be the suspect in as many as 24 homicides, authorities saying that he once held a gun to one of his girlfriend's heads and told her that she would be number 24, implying that he had killed 23, and that's according to the testimony at a federal court hearing that he had. Now, as far as the 51st Street Crips, they're going to say that one associate of that said gang, Steve L. Ray Jr., earned a reputation when he was only a teen as Kansas City's most prolific and feared gunman. They were going to say he now spends his days in maximum security federal prison, where he's serving a life sentence for crimes that include several drug-related murders. Now, back to Fat Tone, like I said, who was also associated with this group. Prosecutors accused him of killing a 17-year-old pregnant woman and her baby in the 2001 drive-by shootings. Those charges would end up being dropped after witnesses would refuse to cooperate with the authorities. Now, Fat Tone would go on to survive a drive-by shooting in 2014. He would also be questioned by authorities in connection with the killing of Mac Dre, which happened in Kansas City. Then, in 2005, someone would gun down him and another Kansas City man in Las Vegas, supposedly in retaliation for that murder. It's going to be said that Kansas City police formed the department's career criminal unit largely because they needed a better way to battle the 51st Street Crips. Rashawn Long would end up being convicted at trial on August 21st, 2014 for possessing bath salts with the intent to distribute and being a felon in the possession of a firearm. Now, according to court documents and evidence presented at his sentencing hearing, Long carried out the murders of at least 5 individuals in a relatively short time frame, at least one in 2001, for which he was convicted in state court. He would end up serving 12 years on that conviction, and then at least 4 during the summer of 2013, the same year that he was released from prison for the 2001 murder. According to testimony at his trial, they would say Rashawn Long shot and killed Michael Burks on February 1st, 2001, in the middle of a public street in Kansas City, Missouri. Now, Long attempted to kill a gentleman by the name of Marlon Brown on March 5th, 2001, in Overland Park, Kansas. Though he survived, Brown was paralyzed from that specific incident. Now, according to court documents presented at his trial, Long was also responsible for the execution-style shooting of Maisha J. Turner and her 3-year-old daughter on August 23, 2013 in Kansas City inside their home. A federal agent testified implicating Rashawn Long in the shooting murder of a guy by the name of Kevin Flip Jones on September the 20th, 2013 in Kansas City, Missouri, in the victim's driveway. He was also involved in the drive-by murder of Raymond K. Thomas, with an automatic AK-style assault rifle on July 14th in 2013, according to testimony from authorities. Now, it's crazy after doing all that dirt that the investigation into his case will begin in Kansas City when police responded to a call about a suspicious person on October the 26th of 2013. Officers contacted a homeowner who stated that a man that she didn't know had been knocking on her door. She also told officers that he had parked his 2013 Dodge Avenger in her backyard and left the area. She had no idea who the vehicle belonged to or why it was parked in her backyard. The officers would go on to notice that the vehicle had a strong brake pad odor, which was consistent with it having been recently driven at a high rate of speed, with the brakes repeatedly engaged. Now, one of the officers requested a tow truck to come and pick the vehicle up. Now, when the resident went to move her own vehicle so that the tow truck could get into her backyard, she found a note from Long, but addressed to another person, thanking that person for letting him park the vehicle in her yard. Now, a few minutes after that, Long would come running up the hill, waving his arms and yelling at the officers. He told the officers that he knew the owner of the residence and that he parked his vehicles there before. Long also told the officers that he was trying to hide his car from his fiancée while he visited another woman who lived down the block, and he did not want anybody to see him. So Long, who had 2 active arrest warrants at the time, was taken into custody. Now, when officers would go on to search that vehicle, they found a backpack that contained a stun gun, a can of pepper spray, a digital scale with residue, a video camera, and a Coke can. Now, inside the Coke can compartment, that's where they're going to find the bath salt. Now, when officers reviewed the contents of the video camera, they found at least 2 images with Rashawn Long flashing a Glock semi-automatic handgun. So, if that does not go to show you that no matter what you're doing or how big the crime is, the internet can bring you down with the smallest detail, just keeping a picture, because they're going to go in that phone. Y'all remember that. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, POP_A_LOT. We're going to be back with some more real trill spill shit. I want all my people from KC. Y'all get in the comment box. They're going to say that this arrest pretty much hampered the 51st Street gang. According to the Star, the Kansas City Star, they're going to say KC's most feared street gang finally may be history. I want y'all to get in the comment box to let me know if they still active, they still around. Like I said, y'all follow me. I hit the bell right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. Y'all let me know where we need to go, who we need to cover, who we missed. And y'all already know what it is. It's the Mobb. Mobb. Ties.